On Mount Gilboa. In the months of September and October, Jesus and his apostles partially withdrew from public life. They stayed in a secluded camp on the slope of Mount Gilboa. Throughout the entire month of September, Jesus was there alone with his apostles, and he taught and instructed them in the truths of the kingdom. There were several reasons why Jesus and his apostles had withdrawn. They were now staying in a kind of no-man's land on the border of Samaria and the Decapolis. The religious authorities in Jerusalem were hostile towards them, and Herod Antipas, the tetrarch of Galilee, still kept John the Baptist imprisoned. Antipas was afraid to release John, but also afraid to execute him. The reports about Jesus made him suspicious, and he suspected that John and Jesus were somehow collaborating. Due to these threats, it was not wise to work in Judea or Galilee. And there was another reason. As the number of believers increased, the tension between the disciples of John the Baptist and the apostles of Jesus also grew. Jesus realized that his preliminary work of revealing his heavenly Father would soon be over, and that the next step would be more radical and widespread. Jesus did not want his next moves to damage the budding trust with the followers of John the Baptist, causing them to become estranged from him. He had therefore decided to withdraw for a while to review everything with his apostles, and to do some inconspicuous work in the Greek cities of the Decapolis. This would continue until John the Baptist was either put to death or released, at which point he could join them for a combined effort. Over time, the apostles became increasingly devoted to Jesus and to the work for the kingdom. Their devotion was largely a matter of personal loyalty. They understood little of the multifaceted teachings. They simply could not grasp it. They could not comprehend the dual nature of Jesus, nor did they fully understand why he had come to earth. During their stay on Mount Gilboa, Jesus told the 12 much about his youth and his experiences on Mount Hermon. He also told them some details about what had happened in the hills during the 40 days immediately after his baptism. And he forbade his apostles to talk to anyone about these experiences until he had returned to his heavenly Father. The apostles did no outward work during this month of September. As a result, they had a lot of time to rest and reflect on their work of the past months. They made a serious effort to frame everything Jesus had taught them so far. Due to Jesus' serious words, they all realized that this would be the last opportunity they would have for an extended period of rest. They prepared themselves for the next public appearance, which would mark the beginning of the final proclamation of the coming kingdom. But what exactly this kingdom would entail, none of them had a clear idea. During these 2 months, Jesus often withdrew. Then he was alone on the mountain near the camp. Sometimes he took Peter, James, or John with him, but mostly he went away alone to pray or to commune with his Father. After his baptism, it is actually less accurate to refer to this communion with his Father as prayer, and it is also inconsistent to speak of Jesus as being in worship. It is more accurate to refer to this quiet time as dialogue with the Father or personal communion with his Father. The central theme of the conversations throughout this entire month of September was prayer and worship. After talking for days about worship, Jesus finally gave his memorable discourse on prayer in response to Thomas's request, who asked him, "Master, teach us how to pray." John the Baptist had taught his disciples a prayer, and although Jesus never forbade his followers from using this prayer, the apostles noticed that in practice, Jesus did not entirely approve of reciting a fixed and formal prayer. Nevertheless, new believers continually asked to be taught how to pray. The 12 longed to know what form of supplication Jesus would approve. It was mainly because of this need for a simple form of supplication for ordinary people that Jesus agreed to teach them a thought-provoking form of prayer. Jesus gave them this memorable instruction one afternoon in the 3rd week of their stay on Mount Gilboa.